I'm live. Always excited when I see that happen. Today I have with me David Perzynski, who is the owner, operator, all of Long Beach Solar. In Long Beach, we have a Long Beach broker preview every week, and they bring in different speakers. And he spoke a couple weeks ago. I thought he was awesome, great information, to the point. And I know if I was doing solar, I'd be giving this young guy a call. So here we go. I'm going to bring Dave in now. Hi, you there?
I am. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I appreciate talking to you.
Yeah, you were great. Just I loved how you told the story how you got here from Ohio. So if you just want to, introduce yourself and start with that, I thought it was a great story.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I appreciate that. I've been working with energy for really my whole life. I knew there's something that even my grandparents used to work with in the power plants in Detroit.
Oh,
And I worked with a few rebate and retrofit programs out with the utilities in Ohio. I worked with Honda doing some carbon calculations. About 10 years ago, the governor of Ohio said, all the LEDs and solar, they're not a good fit. They're not real. So I'm like, I probably should go to a state that's a little bit more, progressive for job security. So I've been here in California for about a decade working with solar and energy programs. It's been a very great journey, and I really grew a lot of roots here in Long Beach. It's been a great city to work with.
yeah, we love Long Beach. Yeah, that's great. Um, okay, so I think that one of the reasons I wanted to have you on was because and I know you're so busy, so thank you for doing this for me. Because
Absolutely.
do you want to tell them what's happening right now with the solar and why you're so busy? Start there. Is that good?
Certainly. So, it's a very unique time for solar. This is probably the lowest price per watt it's been. The incentives have gone up to 30% again for the tax credit, and it's offsetting these incredibly high Edison bills. I mean, the way that I think of solar is that it's just an investment. Stock market, they say that it crashes every 5 years. I've never seen Edison lower the rates. So it's a really good time for solar, but part of how it works is that they incentivize you giving them the surplus energy. And that incentivization, as many people may have heard, is soon to go down after April. On a very basic level, how it works is all the energy will go to the house first. Any of the extra energy goes into the grid. They keep track of that. They keep track of what you take from them, and after a year, after deferring all those charges, they smush them together, and then that's your settle up bill. That's your true energy bill. It's kind of almost a one for one trade, the credits you give them versus what you take for them. And in the future, just the value of those credits will go down drastically. So a lot of people are trying to get grandfathered or locked into the current rate code by getting their project done now before the change happens.
Okay, all right. And we had talked, I think it's April 15th, but if you've contacted David or another solar company and you've had it going, right? So you're looking at maybe, I don't know, what, like 4 weeks out, you to
Yeah,
be
so
grandfather?
whether you go with me, anyone else, if you've been thinking about getting solar, now is a good time to get the process started because all of us are getting swamped. Um, to get locked in, you have to have the application submitted and received and deemed valid by Edison. And right now, it's not too hard to get that application paperwork in for Edison, but it also is counting on Edison to receive and deem valid these applications in a prompt manner, and trusting Edison to do that is makes me bite my nails. So throughout all of February, I'm confident. As we get into March, it's really getting close to the buzzer there. So it's good to get started sooner than later.
All right. And I have your website up here for people to see. I went and checked it out. It's very well done. Lots of good information there. Just to, I guess I might have to say devil's advocate, but do you think it's such a big deal that these tax credits are going down, or you're like, it's solar still, the way you should
It's
go?
It's unfortunate that it's happening, but even after it happens, our the market that we're in California is still a better market than other states. But right now, just the investment is fantastic. As you know, it lasts for 25 years, and it people now see a return on the investment within 5 to 6 years. After the change happens, it's going to be more like a 10-year payback, and the idea of getting a $0 bill will be gone. I mean, right now I can get close. I can bring a $200 bill down to maybe 20 a month on average. In the future, it's just never going to be as good. So we'll still be in business. There'll still be solar projects. It probably will be smaller, or we will force to be doing batteries. But so it'll still be okay to do solar after the change happens, but it won't be as attractive. I'll put it like that.
So one of the things I found very interesting that you talked about was the batteries. And so maybe going forward, who knows, right? Maybe this will be the impetus that will be like, okay, we're going to make the batteries better. So do you want to
Certainly.
talk about the batteries a little bit? I think that's just fascinating.
Absolutely. I think batteries is going to be a big part of the California solar system or energy system in the future forever. But the technology right now isn't to where it will be in a couple of years. Right now, the challenge with batteries is that they take longer to install. They're pretty darn costly. And the warranties are only about 10 years, whereas the solar warranties are 25. What's going to happen is with this net metering 3 change, California is going to feel bad for all the solar companies that are having a hard time, and they're going to throw money at the problem. And there's going to be a huge demand for batteries. That's going to result in the next 2 years, we're going to see a big price reduction, or at least probably a better incentive program. And then with the demand, the technology is just going to skyrocket, get better. As well, what I know is coming in the future is something called bidirectional electric vehicle charging, which means that Enphase is actually a kind of inverter, has already published that it will allow someone's electric vehicle to be plugged in, and not just you take the energy from the house to charge it. You'll be able to have bidirectional where the energy can
Oh,
go
wow.
back into the house. And the battery inside of your car is about 10 times the size of the wall batteries. So that's really going to change everything. And that's coming out in 2024. So definitely keep a pulse on the battery market. But right now, it's just most of my jobs are just solar, getting ready for the next step with batteries.
Gotcha. And are the batteries in the cars now, is that the technology that's going to change in 2024 also? Is that
So
still?
what's going to change in 24 is they will allow it to go back and forth. Right
Ah,
now, your car
you're only
battery can
pulling.
only take. Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't know. Just like, oh, okay. The whole battery issue seems like it's going to change everything. And what
Hmm.
was the other question I wanted? Oh, I know. I thought one of the best things you said to us as real estate agents, but also, to clients, is if you have an existing solar panel system, is it working? You do inspections on them. So yeah, I think you should
Hmm.
let people know about that right here.
Definitely. So, what I've seen a lot in the past is the original solar companies that have done all the installations are nowhere to be found. It's very sad, and me working in California about 9, 10 years on solar system, I've seen it a lot. Me as a business, I've realized strategically it makes sense for me to get good at working with homeowners, working with my technicians to learn how to diagnose and repair some of the older systems. The nowadays they have inverters, the things that convert the DC to AC. They have inverters that last 25 years, and they're able to monitor every single panel. In the past, the inverters were 10-year warranty, and you couldn't actually monitor them. You had to cross your fingers and hope on your bill that it was lower. So what I've seen for a lot of new homeowners that purchase their system, or even existing people that have
Mhm.
solar, at some point it just isn't working. They don't know that it's not working, and they don't know how to fix it. Usually it's the inverter, and it is, there's a cost to get a new one, but it's not the end of the world, and we are very familiar with that. So for, again, a lot of even realtor, during that process, it's good to know if you're buying a home, it's good to know if the system's working. You can
Right.
have some easy things like saying if it's a sunny day, you want to know if to take a look. You look at your meter. If it's pointing left, then that's good. It means that the energy is getting pushed through the grid. But if there's a more in-depth kind of inspection that's needed, we're able to help with that.
All right. Yeah, that's great. All right. Seems like there was something else. Oh, I know. Cleaning your solar panels. What do you recommend?
Yeah, so according to most of the warranties, they advise it being cleaned twice a year. When that happens, just know that if it's a hot day and you put cold water on the glass, that might make it crack. So don't
Oh,
do that. If it's clean, do it in the morning.
okay.
Typically, I say I clean my own panels after every major fire season to get all the soot and ash away.
All right.
I've seen some panels not cleaned for 10 years. They still worked. But there was a little bit of moss and mold growing on it, and that was probably going to eventually cause some problems. So, at least at some point, whether or not you do it yourself or not, at some point, maybe get a professional cleaning. There's a great individual that's also local to Long Beach. I'll give him a shout out, Christian of Mr. Solar Clean. I trust him, so he's a good guy to call.
Is he out of Torrance? Is he a young guy? No. Okay.
Uh, Probably, maybe.
I don't know. I ran into a young kid. He's a pretty young guy?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I ran in walking the neighborhood one day and I just he was really nice. Anyway, I wonder if it's the same person. All right. Is there anything else that you think that people should know or you want to pass on while we're here?
No, just that, especially in our area, the process to get solar installed has been made as simple as possible, especially in Long Beach, where a lot of the cities have a part of their sustainability plans to help their citizens go solar. I'm a part of the Sustainable City Committee for Signal Hill and Long Beach Sustainable Business Network here in Long Beach. And there's definitely a huge push. It's great to be able to have more energy independence locally, and it is something that is really good for our community. My coworkers, my installers, have known them personally. They all live around here, yeah, no, I'd love to help or at least give any advice to anyone that's thinking of solar. If I had any other advice, I'd say, um,
We do have one question there.
oh,
Can you see it on your end? It's
yeah,
just
let's take a look.
yeah. She says another company has told me their panels are more efficient than others, and they are the only ones that install them. So I think that is a good question. Where do your so go ahead. It's your question.
Yes. So ultimately, for panels, what matters most is the readiliness of the, how do I say, how proliferated those panels are into the market.
Mm,
Because if in 15 years, if they are a rare panel that only one company installs, I would be worried about the operation and maintenance. What I do for my technology is I use, typically within the top three panel manufacturers, I use Q-Cell specifically. For them, throughout the pandemic, they didn't give me any supply chain drama,
nice.
which was
Nice.
great. So I can trust them. They're local, have a local office in Irvine. They're invested in manufacturing in Georgia. More importantly than even the panel, though, is the inverters. Because if you have a great, super efficient panels, but the inverters don't do the DC to AC conversion, then you won't get any power anyways. So way more important than the panels is, say, getting, I'd say, N-phase microinverters, the newest kind of N-phase inverter out there. I did
Okay.
see our contracts transferable.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
that,
that's a good question. You're doing them, they're owned, the ones that you're putting in, or are you leasing? What's the situation
and
with that?
in this current stage for the residential market, I find it unsavory to ever put someone into a lease or PPA. I've seen other companies that do that. They don't consider them solar companies, they consider themselves banks. And that is not a way to have a business, in my opinion. Due to the Inflation Reduction Act last year, they've made the solar tax credits extremely more easy to be able to achieve for most homeowners. And in that case, when it is owned, it is an asset that's a part of your property, just like an air conditioning unit that, when you sell your house, you sell your air conditioning unit to the other person as well as an asset.
Right.
Warranties are absolutely transferable. The net metering agreement is also transferable.
Oh,
And
good to know.
most financing options could also be transferable, but typically they are, the contract or the financing is fulfilled during the sale of a house, and then just the new person just flat out owns the system. Financing is a whole other ordeal. I can get into it, but basically, most all solar contracts are transferable. Even leases or PPAs are, but most realtors or mortgage brokers or lenders will tell you that it is not as easy as the loan or the lease PPA people say.
No,
It's
no.
doable, but it's
Yeah.
headache.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point when we're talking to somebody, if they're gonna sell their home, it's like, "Oh, if you own the solar panels, it has become a equity benefit to your home." If you're lease, I think we all just go, "Oh gosh, it's just gonna be a problem," because of the buyouts and
I'll take your word for it more than mine, as you work with it every day.
Okay. Well, David, I know again, I know you're so busy but yeah, great information and yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Really appreciate the opportunity.
All right, you take care.
Mhm.
Bye.